Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to do a long-term review of my Ducati Scrambler 800, which I bought back in 2018, brand new from Ducati Manchester. I'm going to show you around the bike. I'll let you know the things I like, the things I don't like, and I'll also let you know a few quirks and a few things which have kicked in over the years. So if you're interested to see, jump on the pillion seat and I'll take you all for a ride. The engine is an 803cc L-twin, air-cooled, and it has 75 brake horsepower. The exhaust is a 2-into-1 system. The gearbox is a 6-speed manual with a cable-operated clutch. The front suspension is a 41mm Kayaba front fork. The rear suspension is a Kayaba monoshock. The front brakes are a 330mm disc with a Brembo caliper. Rear brakes are a 245mm disc with a Brembo caliper. Front wheel is an 18-inch spoked and it is running the Pirelli MT60 RS tyres. The rear wheel is 17-inch spoked and again running the Pirelli MT60 RS tyres. On the left we've got the indicators, the flasher and the horn and the mode button, and on the right we've got the start. The dash gives you the revs, speed, time and mileage. Seat height is 790mm. This is the classic orange colour scheme. The front headlight and indicators are all bulbed. Rear indicators are bulbed, rear light is LED. The bike has a steel tubular trellis frame and weighs 186 kg. One thing which is annoying on this bike though, and of all Ducatis of this kind of era, is the indicator switch. They're absolutely garbage. You can press it 10 times and it still doesn't go off. It'd be really a bad design. I've got the same one on my Ducati Diavolo and that's exactly the same. You press it, it doesn't do anything. You press it, it eventually goes off. So this era of Ducati indicators are definitely a thumbs down. Ducati Scrambler is an absolute favourite bike of mine. As I say, I bought it brand new and it just never fails to make you smile and enjoy your ride. The good thing about this bike is it is an 800cc, but it's not highly tuned. So that means you can really throw this bike into bends and enjoy the twisties and the back roads and really push it to its limit and not feel like you're really teetering on the edge at any point. I would personally say this is more fun, and I find it more fun than riding my sports bikes on the road, which you can only ride at about 50%. This bike, you can really wring its neck and get the absolute most out of it. And believe me, smiles per gallon is absolutely unreal. So let's have a chat about the bike then, which I've owned since 2018. I bought it brand new from Ducati Manchester. When these bikes first came out in 2015, I was absolutely blown away by the looks of them. I thought they looked absolutely amazing. I thought that's the best retro looking bike, the best scrambler looking bike by far. I personally thought nothing could come close to it. So they've been out a couple of years. Obviously I bought mine I think 3 years after they first came out, and for me this was the only colour choice to go for. The orange colour, I just thought that looked absolutely amazing. It just looked like it was straight out of the 1970s. I thought Ducati had absolutely smashed it out of the park with this bike. It was just something which just went bang. Yes, I've got to have one of them. For me, the fun factor of this bike is off the scale. It's an 800cc, but it's not highly tuned, but it handles absolutely superb, and you can really throw it around on the twisty roads. You can open up that throttle, get it right to the stop, and feel in control at all times, and it just puts a smile on your face. It's so much fun to ride. This has to be one of my absolute favourite bikes out of all the bikes I own. There's quite a few people who've ridden it who don't like it and don't get along with it, but for me, it does what it says on the tin. It's stripped back, it's a lightweight, it's got more than enough power, and it looks like it's out the 70s, like I've said before. It looks more like the original Scramblers which Ducati used to make. So for me, it's just an absolute winner and something which I would never sell. I would look to keep this bike for the rest of my biking time. The bike is so versatile. I have actually taught 2 people to ride on this bike from never riding previously, no experience whatsoever. Took them up to my work premises, got them on the bike, got them comfortable, and away they went. They learnt to ride on the bike, and they went on to do the full licence, and both of them passed first time. So this bike, as one of those people said, was absolutely perfect for learning on. They said they found it absolutely ideal. So another tick for the old Ducati Scrambler there. So having owned the bike since 2018, it's been garage stored all its life. It's been ridden all year round, but it's really stood up well, I've got to say. There's not really anything. The only marks on the bike are marks which I've put on it from getting it in and out of the garage and being a bit careless. But there's nothing, there's no rust marks. There's nothing which is looking dated and old and needs refreshing or anything like that. I think the bike's really stood up well over the period which I've owned it, and I would say that really, apart from the couple of scratches which I've put on it, it would look pretty much brand new. Obviously once it's cleaned. I've just been on a bit of a green lane there and absolutely covered it in mud. So talking about green lanes, I would change the tyres if you're going to look to do anything like that on one of these bikes. These are the standard Pirellis which the bike came with. They've been replaced a couple of times over the years, but I've just stuck with the standard tyres which came with the bike. They look great, big chunky knobbly things, but off-road, especially in mud, that kind of thing, they're no good for that, but they look the part. Mechanically, the bike has been faultless in all the years which I've owned it. The only issue I think I've ever really had was a battery which had lost quite a lot of voltage. What seemed to happen when you start the bike, the RPM would seem to stick on, which was a bit weird, but then when you've ridden it for a little while, it seemed to sort itself out. That's the only thing I can really remember happening with this bike. So the reliability has definitely been A1 in my opinion. Quite a few people changed the stock exhaust to a Termi or a Krapovich. I've just left it standard. I think it sounds absolutely great anyway. I didn't really see the need in changing it. There's not really anything which I would change on the bike. The only thing I would say is the seat is quite firm. I love the design of the seat, the checkered, the quilted look to it. It's a really good finish, but it is quite hard. It's more like an enduro bike kind of seat, that kind of sensation on it. And the other thing would be, it is quite slippy. So when you're braking or acceleration, you do tend to move around on the bike. But I really do like the looks of it. I think they've absolutely nailed it with that seat design. Another design feature on the Ducati Scrambler, which I love, is the spoke wheels. I've said it before on previous videos that I love spoke wheels on retro bikes especially. And for me, this just finishes the bike off and it looks absolutely superb. This is a Gen 1 Ducati Scrambler, and there's been a couple of other additions over the years. They brought out a 400 and an 1100. Both of those to me were just kind of wasted. I didn't really see the point in them. I think the 800 was the absolute sweet spot. I don't know how well the 400 sold, but you never really see many of them about. And the 1100 for me was just overkill, and they started to add extra things on here and there, and for me that detracted from the bike. The point in a Ducati Scrambler for me was stripped back and basic and raw biking. And even the latest models of the 800 now, they've kind of gone more with a tech kind of direction. The screen isn't a round binnacle now, it doesn't look retro. For me, it's just kind of, if you're making something to look old school and feel old school and give you that old school way of riding and sensation, then you stick with it. I don't see the point in updating it and adding more and more tech into it, because that then takes away from the whole original purpose of the bike. So for me, if anybody was looking to buy a Ducati Scrambler, I would definitely say an 800 from in and around 2015 to 2018 is the absolute perfect time period to be buying one from. As you can tell, I really love this bike, and it brings a smile to your face every time you get it out, no matter what the weather. If you've got any questions about the Scrambler, do drop a comment below and I'll do my best to answer. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment and subscribe below. Remember to keep it shiny side up, and I'll see you all in the next one.